and resistance. So supply and demand can apply to small caps, but it's where your institutional buy and sell orders are. So if you don't have a high percentage of institutional ownership, it's going to be a little bit harder to find. But basically, when you're looking for a supply or demand zone, you are looking for a move. When it's demand, you're looking for a move to the upside, and then a indecision area, followed by a stronger move to the upside. So if you look in the chart that I pulled up, AMD, this on the weekly, this rectangle down here would be a demand zone. And again, the larger time frame that you're looking at is going to be stronger. AMD, if you'll see up here, had such a great run because it had broken through this supply zone that it previously kept going into and getting knocked down from. Now, every time that a stock hits a support or resistance or a supply or demand zone, it is weakening that area because there are less orders there to fill when you're talking about institutional buy or sell orders. So once AMD broke above this supply zone, or actually even before it broke above into it, we can see here on the daily that it was consolidating a bit in here, but it again failed and rejected. Over here, I think it was on the 1 hour because I traded AMD a lot. Right here, you can see where it goes into that zone again, starts consolidating with higher and higher volume on the buy side and continues moving upward. So it broke out of this supply zone. Not only that, it hit the 100 rule, which is the first time a stock breaches $100, it tends to run an additional 15 to 20%, just as a general rule of thumb. So once we saw this supply zone being broken, it had an incredible run up if you were trading the options on it, of course. And that's when I started identifying like shorter time frame support and resistance. But basically, that's just how to find supply and demand is a break in the
That's a
action
very good.
followed by a continuation move.
That's a very good one that you mentioned because not only the more support resistances you find on uh, hourly and daily time frames, the stronger that breakout would be, and that was a great cover of that because AMD is a perfect example, um, and of course the volume was a very good indicator as well, and very evident on the shorter term, especially. But when multiple things just come hand in hand,
Mm-hmm.
those are the trades like that you want to go in extra in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if it's breaking resistance on multiple time frames, if you can really see volume building up, like around a certain price area, if you can see some consolidation happening, especially in larger caps because that's where big money always comes. I think that's also very prevalent consolidation. I don't know like how it works with small caps. I never tried that strategy with small caps at the time, but it only makes sense like you want to think about stuff like on a psychological level. Sometimes when you look at like, okay, people are holding here, and so that's when um, bear and bull flag, which is my second most favorite, come into play during consolidations because you want to catch the big move. If you're risking something in the market, best to try to catch the best move. Don't try to catch it the best move all the time, but like when the technicals tell us so, like a bear or bull flag out, depending on which side you're on.
Let me pull up an example that has those. I was trying to think of another small cap to pull up. Um, off the top of my head. I think this was the last small cap biotech that I had a swing on. Oh dear. um, yeah, I can't remember how long ago I had this. Let's see. Give me a recent runner.
Oh my gosh, what was that thing that ran like 250%, then 100% pre-market? It was a V something.
What was
What
that?
was
That Chinese NFT thingy that went crazy before. Way
Oh,
up here. Oh dear. Look at that.
if you do you want to go what time frame is that?
This is a 1 hour. What time frame do you want me to look on? And I'm gonna look at the run
Yeah.
area.
Do one that's like a little bit bigger, like a 4 hour, for instance.
Okay.
4 hours is a really good one too, but I have too many time
Okay.
frames.
Here's a 4 hour.
Some people swear by 4 hour. So if you draw a line from when the move took place, for instance, like that huge green bar on the bottom around 5:15, it looks like. If you draw a trend line, diagonal one, you'll know where like the actual resistance lays,
From five
because
where? I'm sorry.
you see that green by a or
Give me the date down here.
all right, between 316, 317, I believe. Okay. Yeah. So this is when you see a solid green bar on the bottom, if you go a little bit lower right there when it took off. So
Mm-hmm.
there's this bull flag breakout where like you got this solid green candle, and you know this is where the move started.
Oh,
So
you
if we
mean
have big
beforehand?
money.
The move right here,
Mhm.
the flag right
Yeah.
here.
And then exactly. And then so that's when you know during consolidation you want to enter right there where, and then you can also use diagonal one on the resistance where it previously tried to break out, right before 316. Yeah. And then so this right there is like a definite entry for, and then you see your volume bar also falls within this candle. It's because big money enters. Um, so your stop loss can go right where the bull flag breakout started.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you draw a trend line from the bottom of that movement right
Mm-hmm.
there, all the way up, and then you know that's, and then now draw a resistance line right where that wick is. For the person who also mentioned earlier, which one you know is your resistance. Sometimes it's really the intersection of that horizontal and diagonal trend lines that you have. So you put your horizontal resistance right above that wick where you drew your diagonal. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a great one that I would personally pick. Like my diagonal resistance meeting my horizontal resistance. Hell yeah, that is more than plenty for me to know where the resistance is. And so if I'm entering a trade, over here where the second run begins after the flag breakout, if you go up on the next one, the major one, it's holding trend. I have no worry, like, just,
Mm-hmm.
but then once it breaks, I know, like, if I want to hold and I'm hopeful, like, there's no way I would want to hold under that uh, intersection of the diagonal and horizontal line, because that's definitely the weak area.
Yeah. trend lines, anytime that you're breaking below trend line, that's really when, like, if you were long here, um, and you were like here, it pulled back to and bounced from the trend line. But here it broke below it. You really don't want to be holding something after it breaks trend. Um, we have seen like stocks will all the time break trend and then go back to reclaim it. But remember, you can always re enter. So try to obey your trend line, and that can tell you where to get out, where you're trying or where your trade is starting to fail.
Yeah. On the indicators you mentioned and I mentioned tonight, the good thing about it is like it's because people ask this question all the time, and it was a source of my confusion for so long because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what time frame is this good for, or what time frame does it work for? So these are usually are the ones that work for most time frames. Of course, each time frame tells you something different. That's something that comes a little bit with time, but like, the ones that we covered tonight, the moving average crosses and that, like, and the ones you mentioned with the resistance and volume and what was the other thing you mentioned?
Supply and demand.
Yeah, so those are the things that are, this is why we picked them because um, they're usually really good to even get a cue on different time frames, not
Mm-hmm.
just from 5 minute to weekly to 1 hour to 4 hour. Like, some of them just give you sort of a sentiment, and the others like will just be like, okay, this is confirming on three different time frames, like,
Mm-hmm.
a medium, large, and small. Like, this is good. I'm in.
Yeah. And I think it's important to note too that, you know, if you're going into a swing trade, day trade, whatever, you want to check your larger time frames first because again, the trends, the levels are stronger there, and it's giving you an idea of the general direction of the stock. So everyone has their preferences. I like to look at the weekly, daily, and I'll do the 4 hour and 1 hour are probably my go-tos to check larger time frames, but particularly when I am looking for different supply and demand areas, you can actually see here on my thinkorswim. Um, these are all the different time frames that I will utilize to look for movement in. I do not have all these time frames up at one singular time. I'll use them for different types of trades. But you can customize it to look at whatever time frame you want. But you'll see here, I'll even use the monthlies. I think monthly I really only use for like SPY. But weekly, daily, 2 hour, obviously I have the 4 hour pulled up, 1 hour, 30 minute, 20 minute, 15. And then these are all obviously for scalping and day trading. So just check your multiple time frames, mark out your important levels, and then obviously use your shorter time frames for your quicker trades. Right?
Yeah, it honestly takes less than 1 minute to check those to feel sentiment. So, we spend 8 hours. I've seen traders who like pee in their water bottle so they cannot get off
Ew.
the screen. Yeah, I have. Like,
That's not
no,
okay.
it's a problem. Like,
Go pee.
That's
uh,
normal. That's normal though.
Go
Yeah.
pee. Just go pee.
I know, like, no, I'm not saying one bottle, like 7 bottles, and it's a problem with like a lot, like, not showering, not this, not it's. Let's
That's
be honest, you have
disgusting.
to be honest with yourself in life and in trading. Like, when you get addicted to this stuff, you spend so much time trying to either with the mixture of like overtrading to like thinking you're doing so good following the chart, 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart. Instead, you want your money to be working for you while you're sleeping, and with that, as a trader, even as a day trader, it means like give 1 minute to the longer time frame. Like I understand, like okay, so you're not like a day trader, a completely only day trader would want to just look at the day chart. But like as a swing trader, look at the weekly chart, look at the monthly chart. Like Erica just said, like that's how the professionals do it. So uh, there has to be a reason they're looking at it.
Yeah. And it's gonna, a lot of times too, it's gonna save you from like getting into that trade and you're like, why is it still going down or whatever? Well, on the larger time frame, it's it's fighting a powerful downtrend, like for example.
Yeah, actually, if you could pull up one of those charts I send you, that's a very good place to um, finish this topic on, because in trading, it's so important to also think about where you don't want to bag hold. Um,
Which one do you want me to pull up? RH, Apple, or Spy?
you know what? Just pull up Doge Daily.
I don't know if I can on Thinkorswim.
Can you pull up the picture I send you? I think it's one of those that I send you. It's a really good one, and I'll tell you why. Because
No, you didn't send me something for Dogecoin. Um, I don't think it has it.
okay, just show me what you got, and I'll work any of
All
them
I
because
have is RH, Apple, or Spy that you sent me.
go through them real quick, and I'll be able to tell what I'm talking about.
Oh, you
And
want
that's
me to
really
change the
love
screen
it.
share?
It is like that. I don't care what you show me. Basically, just have my moving averages on that I go by, and all of them are. Um, we covered this one. Let's go to another one. See, and then one more. Try one more. Okay, yeah, I did not send you the Doge one. Looks like.
Mm-mm.
So this one would be an example of. Is this a monthly one? What you just talked about?
Mm.
I
What?
think this outreach is screaming for a pullback, but basically, that it could be a good review. You see these crosses where I circled, the blue line crossing over upwards with the yellow line, which is the slow moving average of 50, and that's that's a very strong entry. So I sent that to you because I wanted to show like how even larger time frames like monthly and weekly also are very good for sentiment,
Mm-hmm.
and that actually might be monthly. So
Mm-hmm.
um, you want to, even the large ones you want to look at for possible sentiment opportunities. So um, the you know I really do like this Dogecoin one because it just happened, and I was just laughing so hard because
Dogecoin chart.
girl, she's so resourceful.
Well, I don't. I don't trade this anymore. I told you I haven't traded crypto. The last time I traded cryptocurrency was in 2017. Okay. What the hell is this? It's a line chart.
It is a line chart, and
Jesus. Oh, look,
I
Yahoo Finance. Beautiful.
will probably continue getting those unless I send you the one that
Wait. I have
I.
Yahoo. Hang on. Indicators. Okay, what do you want? Moving average.
Yeah, if you can put the 5 and 50, that's good enough. Good job, girl.
Yahoo to the rescue.
No,
God
Erica to the rescue.
damn it. Hang on. Exponential. Ah. Okay. Okay. Um,
Okay,
moving.
yeah. that's a good one. Okay, put it like 5 and 50. I mean, I
I did.
use
I,
five.
I have 5 and 50. So your 5 is the blue, 50 is purple.
Okay, so um,
Right here, they crossed.
let's go to the left where they cross down, for instance, like the
Right
blue and the
here.
purple. Yeah, so there's no reason as long as this is trading under that cross. You see, it's like you see in July that it's still trading under that cross that you previously saw mid-May.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a mid-May cross that happened, a cross down,
Mm-hmm.
which was 5 and 50.
Mm-hmm.
Fast moving average with slower moving average 50. There's no reason for us to trade that and back hold this
You mean trade it long, go long
until,
on it?
yes, yes, until now go to the right. What do you see
Mm-hmm.
August into August?
The opposite.
Exactly, you cross up here, and now your five moving average is also sloping up, and so is your 50 sloping up. So 5 and 50 are great, but if you want to be earlier, you could use like, like so the best confirmations are when multiple ones cross at once. But
Mm-hmm.
this is perfect because like it's kind of simple and you can see like why would you buy like you want to prevent loss and holding your capital because your capital could be somewhere else doing something better. If you're trading like below these moving average crosses, um, like you're just adding stress to life, holding capital, and quite possibly and likely in a downtrend. And then instead, you could just go with you see that beautiful green big bar that's happening with the five moving average crossing up 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a reason there's a big green line, not because Doge has some fundamental value to it. This is the reason these indicators work, um, from small cap, tiny cap, uh, stupid cap to mega caps
Stupid cap.
because because big money knows this stuff. So
Mm-hmm. So before we end our stream, I'm going to ask everyone if they have any more questions to submit and then kind of leave off with just, I guess we'll give a word of advice and then we'll end it like that. So if
Yeah, I'd
anyone
like
else
to
have
ask a question
questions.
if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
of course,
Yeah,
fire
thank you both
everyone else you
for
want.
all the information that you're providing. Really appreciated. Thank you. Uh, Eric, I have a question for you. Can you give a quick example of how you use the VWAP to get in and out of trades?
Sure. Let me change my window here. So I'm not necessarily using it to go in and out of trades, but I guess if you were looking at it here, let me go in here. Um, sorry. Give me a recent runner so I can pull up a quicker mover in small caps. Do you know of one?
Say like BT.
BTBT. Thank you. Okay, so for example, on this day here, you can see that it was really struggling to hold above VWAP. So once it broke above and then pulled back here, a lot of people would use VWAP as support for a bounce, but in reality, at least I see that as a sign of weakness because every time it's going to touch that, more and more shorts are looking to knock it down, which is why you can see here it just dumped after that. So if I'm doing like a bottom bounce, for example, which this one didn't really have that opportunity. But if I'm looking to do a bottom bounce reversal, I will actually start scaling out before we run up to before we get to VWAP. A lot of times, if a reversal is happening, the stock will get knocked down again from VWAP. So I kind of watch that to get out. But say like, and this unfortunately isn't a good example of that, but if this would have gone up to here, you know, you still have that good risk to reward. A lot of times I'll leave a little bit to see if it will break above, just scaling out, but I kind of use it just to really know where the shorts are looking. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you again, both of you, very much.
Thank
Sure,
you.
no problem. That was a great answer. And this is shorts actually, they love that false break out of the
Mm-hmm.
VWAP. So this is what they're waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Just the moment it goes up, but it shows weakness after it broke out, because the market is always about to take the most fool out. You don't want to be, so there's going to be so many fools going into the breakout of that VWAP. So be careful with your VWAP, because you want to see it testing back. This is the important thing if you're long on VWAP, is that anytime you see a breakout, you want to see a test. And that's what sort of a cup and handle pattern comes into play. You can play that with VWAP, because it almost always should test it and show that it can hold it. Um, that moment that it goes over and it fails, oof,
Mm-hmm.
are all over.
Well, because I think that this is where the bull trap occurred. It broke above, and the moment it came back to retest, you know, it's kind of like flirting around here and knocked down. And we can see when it was consolidating around this area how it has the lower volume versus these run ups. So that's
Mm-hmm.
telling you that this area around VWAP is weak for the long side. Um,
Right.
yeah, I mean, when you're
Yeah.
okay, I will say when you're day trading, probably the first bounce from VWAP can be successful, just for a quick scalp, but I don't like it after the first bounce.
Yeah, and you gotta know if you're a scalper or not. You just gotta be honest with yourself in trading. And if you're a scalper, you must have strategy. Like you, there is no human being that can be an active scalper without strategy. I'm gonna be honest, you know. It's just what it is. Like, you know, you see people talking about scalp and they're doing so good. Like Alpha, for example, like he's a great scalper, but not everyone is. Even like some people who traded way longer than him. It doesn't make someone more or less. It's just like literally the way their brain works and what they tolerate and what they look for. Like, for
Mm-hmm.
example, someone else we know in the room, that like another one, like, you know, I'll do initials for GG. Like some people are storyline traders. Like, you know, some people brain work uh, like with work the best. I'm a storyline trader,
Mm-hmm.
so like
Well, yeah,
I'm a
everyone has their preferences.
scalper. Yeah, you show me after the fact, I'll tell you exactly where you should have scalped. Like, you know, I don't really have a good strategy because it was, I don't know, like I'm stronger in building a story. So it's okay. Like you just gotta know what you are. If you're not a scalper, don't be a scalper. If you're, you know, a storyline, hey, guess what? Manage your moves and you get to catch, have a strategy and you get to catch big moves instead. Like even if that means you don't trade 100 times a day, maybe once a day,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 times a week. But you know, it's amazing to me. I make notes to myself every day, and like, you know, whether it's about life or trading. And today, um, I made a note saying it's amazing how far we go to prove ourselves that we're right about something than to get results or reward for it. So not only in trading, like we subconsciously try to want to be right, like whether it's consciously, subconsciously, whatever the fuck it is. Excuse my language, but like it's sad. Like even in life, you know, you just like want to prove that you made the right choice versus the right results. And this is why I love trading so much, because it corrects me in real life. It's the other way around, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to say that I think, yeah, we've been recording for about an hour and a half now. I think that everything went well. If you guys have any more questions, you can submit them in streaming chat. We'll do another voice session. We might have to move the platform to be able to get more people to be able to see the screen share. I did record this and I will be uploading it to our YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know who Arya and I are, we host the video podcast called Trader Babes.
What is the channel, ma'am?
It's Trader Babes. So it's youtube.com/Trader Babes. And I'll put the link in streaming chat as well.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So we mainly have our channel on YouTube, and then it's also in podcast form on every major podcast provider. But I will have this uploaded probably tomorrow on the YouTube channel, and I'll post a link in the room. And so if you guys have any other questions, feel free to write them in streaming chat or send Arya and I or
Yeah,
I
and
a
also
message.
on Twitter. We'd love to see you guys ask us questions on Twitter as well, because there's also a larger audience where they have the same type of questions as you guys. And, whether you're professional or small time, like some things come to us at different times, questions and answers. So
Mm-hmm.
feel free to let us know. Trader Babes on Twitter as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might do Twitter Spaces, but I don't know if there's a screen share. I'll have to look for next time. We'll see. But okay, cheers. Happy Wine Friday. And I mean, I was going to go on video and cheers everyone with my wine glass, but unfortunately I can't on Discord. So.
Let me say one thing real quick, though, just for everybody that's listening.
Michael Berry.
I do want to, reiterate
I'm sorry,
the fact
you've
that
been sitting there
the
the
market
whole
is
time.
changing.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's happened this bull market for the past, I want to say year and a half, 2 years, momentum is going to be harder and harder to find. So whatever's been working in the past is not necessarily going to keep working. So I just definitely advise everybody to kind of read back up on fundamentals. Definitely keep watching some of these podcasts, keep reading, go to the education channels, but get a strong fundamental basis behind what you're doing. Because just listening to certain people or just like following a ticker randomly, not understanding why or the reasoning behind the call up for that ticker, you're gonna drain your bank account or your the money you have in your fund or whatever very, very quickly. And as long as if you don't know when to get out or what to look for as to when to get out, so definitely keep reading up. You can't learn too much. So Google, try and find any questions, listen to the people that you think that you can rely on, that kind of thing going forward.
Yeah, that actually brings up a really good point. Thank you. It is important to always be adaptive, be able to adjust your strategy when needed, and be able to trade whatever the market gives us. Good close, sir. Okay, Arya has reached that point of tequila time. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm going to stop recording if you want to hear Arya and tequila time talking.
It's actually wine this time because we said wine night and it's my second glass in.
I love you. Bye. Want more Trader Babes? Subscribe now and connect with us on social media for exclusive content and access you won't find anywhere else. and we'll see you right here on the next unforgettable episode of Trader Babes.